Seeing we have a quorum and it is now 8:30, I'd like to call to order the McHenry County Community Development and Housing Grant Commission. Can I get a roll call, please?
Yes. Adamson.
Here.
Strathmore.
Here.
Kramer. Hausman.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
Caskey. Reining.
Here.
Shute.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Tom Forda.
Here.
Zook.
Here.
Von Bergen.
Here.
Motion
Okay. Mr. Shu, thank you for joining us remotely this morning. For the record, may I ask the reason for calling in remotely?
Just backed up at work
Okay,
and for convenience.
okay. Okay, thank you. So, Mr.
Thank you.
I'd make a motion to allow Mr. Shu to attend remotely.
Seconded by Mr. Moore. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against, motion carries. Okay, so review and approval of meeting minutes. Do I have does everybody have time to just look those over?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the October 22nd meeting, 2025.
Second?
I'll second.
All right. Mr. Reining seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Motion carries. Do we have any public comments? Okay, no public comment. So business, we will move right into new business. And I want to welcome our new commissioner, Vanessa Tomforda. So welcome.
Thank you.
She fills the last open seat, so thank you very much for doing that.
This is way more fun than it looks.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Okay, so next up is initial review and discussion of CDBG and home applications. Turn it over to Sarah.
I have everything on this. Did everybody have a chance to kind of look through everything? So I have everything on a spreadsheet. If you'd like to, as like a preliminary, remove anything from going to full deliberations in April, that's kind of what the purpose of this is today. So as you can see, we have 1.3 roughly in funding, and for CDBG we have this year the most we've ever had, over 5.2 million in asks. So that was open in Neighborly along with the staff review. So this is just, the purpose of this is just at first blush, is there anything that the commission wants to remove right now from proceeding to full deliberation in April? Home, same thing. A little bit less than we had last year, but we have a little over 500,000 available, and the grant request is 810. So a little bit less than last year, which was 1.9 million, but still over what we have available.
So are we looking to hear this list down for presentations?
If you'd like, or you can leave
I guess how does,
everything as is.
I've opened it up. How does everybody feel about,
Well, I'd like to ask Sarah, I guess, you had requested that we send in some scoring on it. Am I saying that right, or?
Just reviewing them,
Pardon?
just reviewing.
Just reviewing, okay. I didn't know if there's some people send the actual score in or not. No, okay. Then I didn't miss much there. Okay.
I'm so sorry.
So do you want to sit? So I just have a question. I was just reviewing all of them, and just since this is my first time, is it typical for this funding to help staff positions? Like, is that something that is like urgent? It's not uncommon. I just didn't know.
Well, usually you see in the purple, a lot of those are staff positions for the public services. And then we also fund the community block grant department as a percentage of the money we get from the federal government. What's the percentage?
10%.
10% comes right to the county to fund this department.
And then typically 20% is the limit for
In public?
a lot of the social.
15%.
15?
Yeah.
Okay.
So is it 15% for the staffing of the public service things?
Yes, so that's down here. So the most that public service could receive would be the 652.
What was that, 6?
652, 396.
So are we going for completion of project in 1 year, like they were talking about? Is that what our goal is this year, you think?
HUD has recommended pretty strongly that if possible, please fully fund projects.
Instead of like
because-
splitting it up in between 2 years or
And that's,
like we've done in the
Right.
past?
that
They
is a
started
HUD
that last year,
directive.
didn't they?
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah.
Just because it costs as much to monitor a $750,000 project as it does a $5,000
Right,
project. So
right.
that was the encouragement, was please
So
fully fund.
it'd be better use of staff.
And we also upped the pretty much minimum
Yes.
ask
Yeah.
to 50.
For the public services, because that is where some of the 5,000 and
Yes.
2,000
Yeah,
yeah.
and $6,000 projects are coming in, so.
So with this-
I'll play a little bit with the lights so that you guys can see better.
Oh, thank you.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So at this point, are we required to essentially get presentations on every single one on this list? Or are we at this point looking to pare down that list?
That's up to you. If you'd like to pare it down now, there'd be fewer presentations in April, or you could leave everyone as is, but.
Because what is,
That's a tough one, I guess. I can look at a couple of these and I see them as having other taxing bodies. I mean, the one that jumps out big at me is the city of Woodstock for 1.1 million. I mean, that would just knock us out of the ballpark
yeah,
to fund that. Though if they don't give their presentation, how do we know that we could fund part of it? Because it's for water softeners for their water treatment plant, and they might possibly be able to, during the presentation, convince us, or me anyway, that they could do one of them. So they wouldn't need the 1.1 million, they could do one this year, one next year, whatever. So that makes it a little bit tough to tell them that they can't come in for anything. Though, once again, the city of Woodstock has their own taxing body to cover stuff like that. They should have their own capital gains plan and capital plan, to cover their expenses on that kind of stuff. And maybe there's a couple other city ones in here too.
Traumatic injury.
Sorry about that.
So that was my thought on that one. I mean, there's some big chunks in here, we just don't have a lot of money to work with on that.
do we have a list from last year of everyone that we funded?
Might take me a second.
I guess to help in
Yeah, that's fine.
paring that down, how does everybody feel about, sharing the
Well, one thing
wealth to
I-
other organizations?
Yeah, one thing, sort of sharing it out, but it would be important if we funded it last year and only partially funded it, then maybe we need to look at,
If it's the
with the
same
idea that
project.
they need to finish it up this year, they can't just let it hang.
Yeah.
Did we do many partial fundings last year? I thought we did
I
mostly
thought we
full.
decided
Not
not to.
Not many, but
I do think, Marty, we tried to cut it down as much as we could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, there were.
But if there was.
Yeah, there were some that just didn't get any funding and some that did get funding. I remember that. I remember, you know, the details.
Some of those neighborhood projects, we did like one street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, yeah,
And that wouldn't be too bad, I guess, if they did the whole street.
Yeah, we did.
Then they can do the next street in 5 years. But if they only did half a street,
yeah.
then it's sort of like
I
maybe we
think, yeah, I
should
think
be
it was
looking at.
pretty much, we looked at like one street
Yeah.
for the entire project. They asked for the entire project, but maybe they only get funding for
Yeah.
one street.
Yeah,
Which,
yeah.
they don't really like that either, because, you know, while the equipment's out there, it is easier and probably a little bit cheaper, you know, to do more than one, but. I guess where I'm kind of going with this are, you know, are there groups in here that we did fully fund last year that maybe we want to give it to another organization this year?
I think the closest one to fully funding was Hebron.
It's like Hebron.
But everything else was partial. Village of Wonder Lake got some for Wildwood.
I think Veterans was fully,
I think it was, because that was a staff position, wasn't it?
yeah. Did we have that 50, we didn't have that 50,000 threshold last year.
And it's probably important to keep in mind that some of these things will get funded by other groups, the mental health board, et cetera, whatever, so.
And I honestly, I think that's important because they can't
Well, it is,
rely on the
yeah,
county or.
yeah.
You don't really know that unless you see the contract, correct? Like if they had, one of the subdivisions that came in, they had a huge IDA funding, and then they were coming to us. It was a Chicago organization building in McHenry, so you don't really know that without, I mean, I think you started with the question of, do we want to look at the contracts? But some of the information you won't know unless you see it, correct? Or the application, I'm sorry.
How many, can we still fit all of this in a day and a half?
How much over are we on the budget versus the request?
4 million?
1.3 million available, 5.2 ask.
Yeah, and some of it was to administration, so roughly $1 million. And then 5.2 in ask.
I mean, my suggestion is to pare this down, if there's consensus on any of it, before we ask for proposals and presentations on it. Especially if we know that there's not a likelihood to, it's like you said, the city of McHenry water softeners, if it's gonna eat up the entire budget. Yes, they could ask for partial, but that's still gonna take away from pretty much all the other big ones.
Mhm. We have 2 Home of the Sparrow on there.
Yeah, that's what I was just writing down. Clearbrook's twice, Home is twice, Habitat's twice.
Yeah, I mean, Home of the Sparrow's got a, well, let's see, part-time therapist maybe, but they had 2 buys, they had 2 on here for buildings, I thought, that were big.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, I could go along with the acquire and rehab, but $450 to buy a new one, maybe that's, you know, have them come in for one or the other at least.
They can pare it down, so there's a lot of 2 application agencies on here.
So for Home of the Sparrow,
To me, I would say the acquisition one for 450 is a lot, and it's not gonna,
over the top.
it's not gonna house any more people probably than acquiring, let's see, they got the one to, mix match here. To acquire a building and rehab it was 270, I believe, instead of the 450 to purchase. I mean, Home of the Sparrow's a good organization, but we still got limitations on how much money we got to work with.
See, Home of the Sparrow. Actually,
Same Habitat for the critical home repair, they figure they can help keep 15 households active. Where their Trinity project, that's probably like 2 houses.
so between Home and CDPG, Home of the Sparrow has 3 asks. Under Home, it's the 180, and I did not know exactly what, I did not know what exactly that was for housing. Or is that for
This is
staff?
Home, this is Home.
Yeah, I don't remember what that was,
What was the amount?
the 270 for
Oh,
Home of the
that was-
Sparrow and under Home. And then they had 2 asks under CDBG.
CDBG was to acquire, it's 450 to acquire, and then the other one was 65 for 2 part-time therapists.
Yes. Let's look and see.
Is this the first year there's been any minimum for submission?
Yes.
Mhm.
Just wondering if it, how coincidental it is that all these came in exactly at the minimum for these positions. It makes me think.
Most of them, because like.
I think you'll see the 50s in the salaries. They
Yeah.
probably, it's probably a salary worth maybe like 80, you know? So they say they can get sometimes funding from other sources. But, you know, just going back to Home of the Sparrow, we have funded them probably every year for quite a long time. I don't know if we wanna, you know what I'm saying?
But they're good, they make a good
They
presentation.
do, they
and-
always make a great presentation.
and they
They're a
seem-
great organization,
And very thorough with how they spend their money.
yeah, but maybe it's time to, skip a year? I don't know, I hate to say that.
Diversify a little bit more.
Well, I've been on this committee for a while, and we've funded Home of the Sparrow for probably every year they've asked for money for different things. And they've always had great presentations, and they've always done a wonderful job in what they do. And, you know, once in a while, we'll have a new presentation, a new organization come in, doesn't really know how to present well, and you'll see that when we have presentations, it's all in the presentation. And maybe we should think about, you know, spreading the money a little bit elsewhere this time. Just a thought.
I think definitely, you know, at least paring it down. I do kind of feel like we should still have them come in and present for at least
Yeah,
maybe one. So I guess the question is which one?
yeah, but we don't, when we put out the, you know, notification, we don't say you can only do one. And Home of the Sparrow knows, you know, put as many as you in there, see what you can get,
Yeah.
you know.
And that's what this is. And
Yeah.
we're trying
And
to.
I think Pioneer Center did the same thing for a while. I don't know if Pioneer's on here. I didn't.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sure they are.
Now, is it possible, like in future, to allow only one
ask?
So we've talked about going forward, maybe just looking at infrastructure projects one year, you know, and then maybe the next year,
Something else.
another
Housing.
category, and it would never be 100% the social services because we're capped there. But, and even with that cap, we still are not required to give that category 15%.
Yeah.
It's just that is the maximum we can give them. Okay, so back to Home in Sparrow.
So the 270 for home is for, looks like rehabilitation. Currently has 30 mixed type and size units. Will acquire and complete any necessary rehabilitation to bring units up to habitability standards.
So similar to what Habitat does, that's what I'm seeing. Habitat for Humanity.
And Habitat actually for Trinity is asking for home buyer assistance this time instead of new construction. So they switched it up a little bit.
So are those already purchased properties that they're looking to rehab, or are they looking for money?
I thought the 450 was to purchase
And then
and repair units.
Yeah, so there's, for home, Habitat has one for critical home repairs for 180, and then Trinity Trail, but instead of doing new construction, they're asking for down payment assistance for the homeowners. Last year, they asked for the construction of the units. And then they're also asking for homeowner support services under CDBG.
Go ahead, Luke.
I was going to suggest that, you know, reading through the different applications, most of these organizations are ones we see every year, and somehow we've gotten through reviewing them all each year. If we maybe pare down the number of applications per agency, we probably can get through it in 2 days. There's not like a whole bunch of new ones on there.
Right.
Even if we clumped them,
Yeah.
you know,
15 minutes.
Sparrow's up there 3 times, you get 1 opportunity.
Yeah. I don't think there's anybody really new on that list that we haven't seen in prior years, so we haven't been able to get through.
How much time do we give them?
I don't know.
15 minutes.
20.
Can we,
20 total?
can we knock that down? Tell them 2 minutes, we're speeding.
It's 10 for presentations and 5 for questions, wasn't it? Or
I
that
thought
usually what it
that's
is?
something, I think something like
typically
that.
what it was.
Larry raised a good point. I mean, I hate to like not let Woodstock come in here and make a case for what they want. You know, they might be able to divide it up or whatever have you.
Yeah, there might be a component of that entire project that, because I imagine they're gonna have to do that project regardless of what they get from us.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any money from the state of Illinois that can help them. I have no idea, you know. I would think there would be.
How many total are there? 26? 5? 28.
28, oh, we skipped the first line.
There were some duplicates on there.
Prairie State is twice.
The Pioneers twice.
Twice up there, yeah. Clear Brook twice.
Sarah, and a lot of these applications are, like, I seen the low to middle income percentage there. Where do they need to be? I forget.
Oh, for area benefit?
Yeah,
So it has to be at least 48.3% low to moderate income if it's benefiting the whole area.
okay.
So these all qualified. There were 2 that didn't because they weren't high enough. One was McCullum Lake and the other one was Lake in the Hills.
Okay,
So 2 have already been
so I guess,
taken out.
yeah.
That's
So the higher the percentage, the more low to middle income that they're helping. I was reading that backwards for some reason before. Okay, thank you.
Would you be able to send us, I know we could probably all find it, but for simplicity, send us like maybe last year's?
Sure.
I want us, we had, I think, a spreadsheet like this. Because I'm kind of recognizing a couple of these that was the exact same ask. And I guess specifically the locks for turning.
Here's last year.
They asked for the same thing.
This is what we funded last year, you're saying?
Do we have a list of everybody?
Like the original list?
Yes, the original list and the people, so I guess I'd like to know who we didn't fund versus who we
Sure.
did fund.
Yeah, I'm
And,
happy to send that to you.
and of that, what they were asking for specifically.
Yep, I can send that to you, no problem.
Because I do think some of the ones that were not awarded grants last year are again asking for the same things. And I kind of, they're all worthy. And at some point, the ones that did not get funded, I feel like we should pay a little more attention to those, especially if they're asking for the same things. 'Cause
Right.
I mean, they don't ask for, I don't know where I'm getting at. I mean, they're all very good projects. They're not asking for frivolous things, I guess is what I'm saying.
Did you want me to send you a side-by-side, like this year and then last year?
Yeah,
I think that would, yes, that would be
Yeah.
incredibly helpful.
yeah, anything that can help us sort this out
Okay.
is good by me.
And I do think Larry has a good point with, letting them all present, but they get 15, 20 minutes, whatever.
But I want to just make sure that I'm clear, because I didn't advocate for that they all would do that, but I just
Okay.
was trying to speak to the problem if they don't. But I could still cut a couple of them out and not have a problem with that either.
Okay.
It's like,
So I guess would you like to share what ones that you maybe think?
well, I go back to the city of Woodstock. They got their own taxing body. That's just a ton of money they're asking for. The Warps Corporation, $200,000 for a rec building or help a rec building build out or whatever. That's an organization that I think has been trying to grow too fast. Certainly what they do is worthwhile, and they're, they got boots on the ground kind of thing, but now they're trying to get into a staffing thing. We had an issue with the Warps Corporation a year or two ago about their staffing and who was gonna be their business manager, I guess, I'll just say it, was the organization's guy's son, and that sort of ground me the wrong way.
And they do get funding from the mental health board,
They do.
quite a bit.
They get a lot of money from the mental health board, yes. Home of the Sparrow with their two different ones, to me it'd be one or the other, and I would pick the rehab, the acquire and rehab one for $270 and not the $450, so I'm knocking chunks of money out of it. But I figure, you gotta speak up, gotta get it out there. So that's what I feel, that's what I'm gonna say. Don't mean to offend anybody.
All right, so let's just start with Home of the Sparrow.
Okay, I could cut that down to the one application for the $270 for the acquire and rehab and not the $450.
Okay, for the home.
Is the $450 to purchase a new?
Yes,
It's-
purchasing a
yes, purchasing a
multifamily, yeah.
new.
And I know a lot of people's minds are on that because of transitional housing, there's not many buildings. But, so it would be either rehab, the one that you have. But then if you get a new building, what are you gonna do with the other one that's?
Yeah, the old one still needs rehab.
Yeah.
Well, the rehab one wasn't completely rehab, it said acquire and rehab, so I'm
Yes,
assuming they're gonna
450.
acquire something
Oh,
that,
no, correct,
and fix
yeah,
it,
I was
yeah.
thinking the 270.
the 270 is acquire and rehab, is what I wrote down, unless I have it wrong here.
I just have
That one's
rehab
just-
written
that
down
one's just
for-
rehab.
I think that's just rehab, the
Yep.
270.
Okay,
from the home grant.
let me see if I can find it. Don't wait for me, I'll just
Oh,
hop in
and
like
then Sarah pulled it up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you have it just as rehab?
Yes.
Okay,
Well, I would say work on the one that you already have.
Is that the general consensus?
Yeah, keep the rehab one. It's gonna need to be rehabbed anyway.
Before we go there, can you remind us what our mission is and what the purpose of the funding is?
Sorry, let me go back. Do you want to keep the 270? Potentially?
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, CDBG and home are utilized to essentially for affordable housing, infrastructure, and then economic development are the main areas. Home is typically used more for new construction, but not always.
Gotcha. So I understand we're trying to reduce the number of presentations. I just did a quick calculation, and for 28 presentations at 20 minutes each, that's a little over 9 hours, not including transition time between. I think it might be more effective to reduce the amount of time they have to present.
I'd agree. I mean, if you're asking for, use the city of Woodstock, asking for $1 million, I think it has to be an in-depth presentation and asking them to do it in 5 minutes. Even if they ask us there, I can't imagine how they could get through it in 5 minutes without us asking a bunch of questions. So I'd agree, for some of these, we should reduce the time, but I think without at least having a
They're not all the same box.
yeah, without having a conversation of, hey, does anything on here not make sense? So we can give the people who are really asking for the money, who we feel like need it the most amount of opportunity to get it. So I think it probably makes sense for both, but I don't want to short anyone's presentation if it is the best use of these funds.
Plus, we're gonna partner, like, there's duplicates, so
Yeah.
each application's not gonna get 20 minutes, right? Or,
Well, let's see.
Or do you say if you have 2 projects,
pick one
you only have one opportunity, not 40 minutes?
to talk about both.
Yeah, that cuts a little bit down, but not a whole lot.
So Home in the Sparrow has 3.
Yeah.
Habitat, I believe, has 1, 2, 3.
They have 3. Yep.
4. They have 4. They have 1. You know, so that's 7 down to 2. You know, but are they going to be able to present 4 asks
In 10 minutes or whatever.
Right.
no, I don't think they will be able to.
No.
Well, even though, where we clump them, maybe we give them an extra few minutes. You know, the beginning of the presentation is who we are, what we do. Then they go into the ask. So we don't have to hear that part 4 times.
Yeah.
That would help, yeah. But I did pull up the Home in the Sparrow for the 270, and it does say will acquire and complete any necessary rehab, so.
Acquire and complete.
Well, yeah,
Oh, okay.
so that is, I'm sure being the idea that 270 is not gonna buy much of a building, and they're gonna need some rehab to it to make it up to, bring it up to standards. And that would be a multifamily unit also, that they would be acquiring and rehabbing.
I remember correctly, the 450 ask was that for a 10? I think I'm mixing that up with Habitat. I thought it was a 10.
450 for Home in the Sparrow?
I think that was Habitat. It was for a 10.
No, They bought something in Marengo. Remember that, Marty, or not?
Yeah, it's right up the road from me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was around 450 that we funded for him to buy that.
Yeah, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago.
Was it that? Okay, wasn't last year then? Okay. So there's 29 presentations?
28.
28.
28
28?
projects, but
But then that's just for CDBG, then there's more for home.
Maybe the multi ones, we give them 5 extra minutes, and that still pares us down
Sounds good.
quite a bit.
You've asked, like, Pioneer Center in the past, they had 4 projects.
yeah, and they would,
One presentation,
Yeah.
prioritize them, we've done that before.
yeah.
And I guess I would like to say that, this isn't necessarily to save us time, but with the multiple asks and the amount that we haven't asked, I do feel like some of the organizations that do have multiple asks probably aren't going to get all of their.
Well, they're not.
Yes,
In
yes.
Reality is they're not.
So, ultimately, that is why we would like to pare it down, not just for us saving time.
Sure. It's a lot to deal with for us, I think. I don't know, but Dick was here, you guys were here. I know some of you others weren't, but we had a time when we had 2 days of presentations and then we come back on the 3rd day.
Yeah.
Or a week later, or whatever it was.
It was all 1 week, I believe.
Was it? Okay.
I never wanted to split it up between 2 weeks.
But then we,
Like 2.5 days.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
was it 2.5 days?
That's what
I think at the
yeah.
most.
And the
Yeah.
last day was pretty quick.
But it,
Yeah.
it didn't go terrible, but I mean, to have the presentations here and then the deliberation over here, some things got lost.
Yeah,
That's all.
Yeah.
they did. I agree.
You agree, you've been around for a while too.
I have.
If you cut, if
But I
you
see
tell
it
the
as
person that
one-
has 4 presentations and they only got 10 minutes,
Yeah,
that's sort of,
Pick one.
yeah, they better have to prioritize a little bit or they're gonna be just giving us a little bit of nothing on a couple of them.
Yeah,
So-
otherwise we'll be making the choice for them, and I feel like they know what they need the most.
right, and that's always a question asked, you have 2, 3 projects, give us your priority, because we can't fund it. So do we tell them now?
I think so.
We can't fund all this, give us a priority.
That's a good.
You know what I
we've done
mean?
that. Yeah, we've done that before.
Yeah, we've done that.
We say, hey, can't fund all your projects, where's your priority at?
Yeah.
And they
So
can,
now
and they
we
can make that
maybe
decision.
ask them now before they even present it.
Yeah, and even within the sometimes their projects were 2 items.
Yeah,
Even then, we would say, okay, we can't do both.
can't do doors,
Just
we
do the
can
windows.
or
Yeah,
something,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
I think it makes sense to ask them now.
Mhm.
Really does.
Yeah, let them do the footwork, by us.
Instead of putting us on the spot.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that too, yeah. And if they feel they have a real strong priority towards something, they'll make a point to have their presentation.
or even go back to City of Woodstock and say, there's no way we are gonna be funding OV for $1 million, Can you give us something that we can actually consider? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think
I
you
had
said
no
it.
idea.
No, I think I said it right.
You know?
It's the reality of it is we aren't gonna do the 1.1. I don't think
Right.
anybody sitting in here is gonna give Woodstock the 1.1
Right.
million and have 200 for.
Right,
for
so
other
if it's,
stuff.
I don't know what the project, I don't know that much about what the project is, but is it something that they can ask for partial on their own? So we don't know that it's
The
partial.
city of Woodstock is, they've got a water treatment plant with 3 water softeners that are old and need to be replaced.
And I think lead service.
And lead pipe service or something, which I'm not sure why they didn't get in on our lead pipe program when it was going 2 years ago, but, I don't know enough technically whether they could replace one water softener or once they're in there, they gotta do them all.
Right, yeah.
If they're in line or if they're separate, I don't know. Is that something you know, Louis, you do some engineering?
Yeah, I think that they should take a look at that and let us know.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
or let us know what other, have they gone to, down to Springfield and looked for money, because I'm sure
Right.
there's grants, water type grants that's available for them.
The other thing there is everyone pays a water bill.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so those are self-funded.
Yeah, you're right about that.
That's a good point. Yeah, they're supposed to be. That's
I
a
think it's very
curious thought, because I think state law says water has to be self-funded, and the money that comes in goes for that, and you're supposed to be having some money set aside for capital improvements like that.
I know, well, that's a major problem in Hebron, is because they have this huge loan through the IEPA, and now the homeowners are stuck with all these improvements,
Yeah.
and we didn't necessarily get the additional homes to cover it. So there are loans out there also that are available.
I like the idea of going back to the applicants, like Dick was saying, and have them prioritize their ask, give us a little better chance on what we can do for them or not.
So anyone with more than one project, reach out and just say, you need to prioritize.
Well, even with the city of Woodstock, I
Yes.
mean, where's your priority? You're not getting 1.1 million, be like Susan, be real.
Yeah.
And I don't mean insulting to them, because I'm sure.
No,
they
but I
don't.
think they put it out there thinking, let's see what we can get. I don't know, you know, I mean, that's because that's how we've worked in the past.
Sure.
Well, we can only fund you a third. Okay, we'll take that money, you know, but, you know.
And they wanted to do the sidewalks around the park, that last year, or the year
That was
before.
last year.
There's a
Yeah, that
couple
was
sidewalk
last year.
projects. I think there's one.
That was a lot of money.
Yeah, here's a
I can't
public
remember.
footpath.
Did we do that one?
Ringo.
I don't remember. I didn't think we did that one. So I would almost even include some of the road projects. You know, because in the past, we have done a road with Wonder Lake. We have done one road with
Township, I
McHenry.
think.
Yep.
Let's see. You know, is that ultimately,
So do we just ask for a road,
I agree.
you know?
Yeah.
Because that's what we've been doing. So let's go back and be more realistic.
that doesn't necessarily mean that one road will get funded, because we still need to keep in mind that we want to fully fund as many as we can.
Right.
So with anything extra
Right.
is kind of, I think, where we need to focus.
We've been phasing Wonder Lake for like 3 or 4 years now, haven't we?
Yeah, we funded Wonder Lake, that's just the one I pulled up, that Wildwood subdivision.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're asking for 550 again. I think we funded 148 of it last year for.
Kind of piecemeal on that.
Well, that's what they're doing, one road at a time.
But if that's what they can do, then they should prioritize that to us, so we can help.
That would be helpful.
I feel like some of the cities and the villages are just throwing their hat in the ring here because they know it will qualify for the income, you know. But I don't know if we're the only ones who can help them achieve those goals.
I mean, they do have, obviously, property taxes coming in, but some of these municipalities and even townships, they don't have a huge tax base. So they're not getting in, you know, the income, like say Crystal Lake or Algonquin to really meet those big project numbers. And that's kind of the way we looked at it in the past. You know, Marengo is a smaller municipality. They're not gonna have the tax base that Woodstock has, or the city of McHenry.
But I think you're right, Vanessa. I think some of them do throw it in and see what we can get, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you can't blame them. I mean,
Yeah,
they can help.
I just think we have to stick to our mission statement.
But then you know, and to Tracy's point, like the city of Harvard, their low to middle income thing is 83%. I mean, that's they don't have the tax base. They don't have, and that's just for the area that they're looking to put some new facade on, and the surrounding area is above 48%. So there's just an area there that doesn't have a lot to work with. And
the municipalities are doing some of this for economic development, which is part of the mission, to kind of get them, you know, up to that base. So people, you know, people and businesses want to be in those municipalities, yeah.
Right, and those, they benefit the whole community. It's,
Yeah.
you know,
Maybe they get more sales tax, maybe they get more property tax. Okay. So we're gonna contact a few of these to ask them to pare down their ask, but give everybody time to present. Do we want to put how much time we want to give each organization?
Organization or presentation?
Per presentation.
Was it around 15?
I
thought it
think
was
I remember it
15.
was 10 and then 5 for questions afterwards.
That's,
And if they do a good presentation, there wasn't a lot of questions.
Yeah, that's true.
So if they are here and they're, when they're supposed to be and then ready to go, it actually moved along faster than every 15 minutes, if I remember.
yes, yep.
now is it gonna be a general statement to everybody? You know, or do we have to pick out who send this?
I think anybody with multiple asks and, you know, maybe the road districts where we know they're asking for essentially
The full
multiple roads, yeah.
Sarah, do you think that's what's proper, to do it, to pick and choose who we do it to, or should we do it across the board? And then sort of tell everybody that this is where we're at?
I mean, you could do either way, because some only have one project.
Right.
Yeah, I think it would confuse the people that are asking, you know, for the bare minimum
Yeah.
of 50,000, because if they pare it down.
Then they
under
can't
the-
ask.
The minimum.
Right.
It's okay. But then they go, and my point being is that the city of Woodstock, I think, only has the one.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
but it's a big one, so we can't really just say if you got multiple projects either.
All right, let's go down the list and decide who we want to send this letter to.
So, sorry.
That's the easiest.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it's a
can
little
we
bit.
also, can we ask them what their other funding sources are?
Yes, we can do that.
I think, is that the detail of each project?
It should
Yeah.
be in the,
That's in the
Each project has
application.
details.
should be in their
so-
budget
Yeah.
that they give during the presentation.
So we're gonna go through the list and determine which of them we're gonna send a letter saying what?
Pare down the project ask, essentially.
So the
Or
minimum, so can you,
Prioritize their
Between the two.
projects.
so it's just for people with multiple?
And
No,
also some big ones.
and the bigger ones that we will not fund fully. no
We
matter-
already know we're not
We
gonna
already
fund
know we
fully.
can't fully fund them.
So what their scale down minimum ask would be? Okay.
Or which project would be a priority,
For the ones with multiple.
and the big ones. So we start with Home of the Sparrow.
Yes, we're gonna send them the letter, that's a yes, right?
Yes.
That's what we're looking for, yes or no?
Same with Habitat.
Habitat? Yes.
Yes.
City of Harvard is asking for 75 for economic development. I don't
Okay.
think they really need, you know, work core. Do they want?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Sorry,
City
one to
of-
work for, just want to make sure I'm getting them all.
All
One to work
right.
for.
Actually, City of Harvard does have 2, now that I'm looking. They have the house demo next to,
The police station.
yes.
Is this letter not pertinent for everyone on the list?
No, we're going through the
We
list
got
to see
one
who,
request in. We know the priorities.
The suggestion maybe that we send a letter to everybody that's over the minimum ask,
Except for anyone that's at 50.
you know?
that would probably be the easiest way.
Well, everybody that's over the minimum ask, that way it's
Fair.
clear, yeah, fair and clear
Yeah.
across the board.
Otherwise we're picking and choosing already
Yeah.
before we hear their presentation.
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, come at us with your best number and your most important projects, and because
And still state the minimum.
And I think you'd be right in the letter, put the 1.3 that we have available and currently a 5.2 ask, and sort of
Right.
send it home with them that
Yeah.
we gotta be doing some serious cutting here.
right?
I agree.
So, I mean, even the smaller projects, you know, like the 61,000, maybe there's stuff in there that they could cut out to bring their number down a little bit. You know?
Go ahead, Ted.
I'm sorry, are we saying that our minimum grant is going to be the $50,000 limit?
That's what
Or-
that's what it is. Now,
Or is that just a minimum ask to do a presentation?
it's the minimum grant amount that we will award
Okay.
But only for public services.
for public services.
So if they were to, say, split, if they have 3 staff positions and we decide that we're only gonna cover 1, if we want to, is that not a possibility?
We've done that in the past, and I guess as long as it meets the minimum grant amount.
But the 50 will, to how they divide that up between the 3 staff is up to them, right? They'll get the 50 if they can only get 1 staff member with it, that's
Yes.
what they get.
The idea of the 50 is to cut down on bookwork on this end.
Yes.
So if they split it up, does that make your bookwork tougher? Does it right back to where we're?
No, I think as long as they're at the 50 and we're not back into the 5 and the 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where the issue is then, yeah.
I like the idea of anything over the minimum.
Yes.
And we're not picking
I
and choosing
think
right
that's
so
fairest.
much.
Yeah, that's fairest. Okay, general consensus with everybody to send a letter
Yeah.
That's good.
to organizations over
Sure.
the minimum
Mhm.
amount.
Yep.
Okay.
And do we find out beforehand there additional funding that's available? We already know that, right? Before they even show up to do the presentation?
So we have a copy of their presentation, and typically in there's a budget that will kind of pull out their funding, their other funding sources and.
And then any other infrastructure that you'd like to have a letter?
I think all of
I
them,
think over 50.
all of them,
Yeah.
Over 50,000.
all of them over
Send one
50.
to all of them.
So all the infrastructure.
Okay, but the 50 was just for public services. There was no minimum for the others.
Understood.
Yeah, but you want them all over 50?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
And let them pick their worst roads and,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and go from there.
Okay. Will do.
Thank
Mhm.
Because then it'd technically be fully funded at that point, right? If they come back with a, $10,000 or whatever, we can fully fund that one project instead of.
Right.
Will we get their updated totals or amounts before we meet in April?
Yes.
Okay.
Will it be through Neighborly again, or are we?
I'm assuming these will probably be done through email, like this is gonna be our ask, and then I can put another sheet
Okay,
together with like another
okay.
section where you can see original ask,
Yeah,
new
that'd
ask.
be good.
Okay, any other questions or discussion?
I like that.
Are we doing the same with, are we doing the same with the home grants? As far as the, break it down?
All of the ones in the home grants are multiple asks anyways, so,
Okay. But we want them to prioritize their needs, right?
yes, yeah. Do they want the home grant or do they want the CDBG grant?
Okay.
If it's a multiple,
I see what you're saying.
and
But we're not far off there from
Yeah.
ask versus available.
yeah, for that one,
Maybe if we ask them the same question, they can come up with that 50 grand shortage. Or we can just whack them a deliberation round.
Well, these are much closer to what we have to offer. So we might be able to do better with these asks.
So the total available is 483,919, and the total ask is 810.
And if we don't use it for home, we can use it for CDBG? We don't have to use the 15% or?
No, that's just for CDBG. Yeah, so the public services for CDBG is capped at 15,
Okay,
but you do not have to, you could use nothing, you could use 2, 5, 10. Like if you say, oh, well, we want to put that additional 50,000 toward an infrastructure, you can do that. It's just capped at 15, you can't go.
So we can make our own cap if we want.
You can say nothing, 2%,
Right.
5%. They just can't go over 15.
Okay.
Okay.
It's, you know, that's a hard
Yeah,
discussion
it
to
is.
have, you know, so thank you for,
this is gonna make the April meeting easier though.
yes, I agree. So we have to
April will be
remember
more fun than this, Vanessa.
For snacks.
Yeah. Oh, Sarah already worked.
Yes, yep.
I'm ready.
Okay, so the next item was consumer credit counseling for the CDBG CB, just COVID monies for last year.
That money's gone now, isn't it, COVID money? I mean,
Uh,
or do they have to spend it?
They have to
within-
spend it by
By a
the
certain
end of
year?
this year.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes.
September of 2026.
Oh,
Do you want to
So,
go through?
yeah, so I mean, like, as Tracy was saying, it's technically COVID funding, so there's also a very limited use. It can't just be for, obviously, the COVID, I don't want to say it's over, but we're not in the middle of the pandemic anymore.
right.
There's only certain things that funding can be used for. And so unfortunately, a former staff member entered into a contract with Consumer Credit Counseling in the amount of $9,428, and that did not come through this commission or follow proper protocol going to PHCS and Finance and the full county board. And so there is a contract, but of course it's not valid at this point unless you approve it. It is for utility assistance, so it would qualify under the CV funding. So if you do want to go ahead and approve it, then we'll from here follow proper protocol.
So I guess the first question is, do we have COVID monies that really we need to sweep back and allocate? Because if we don't spend it, we pretty much lose it.
This would actually close the CV out.
The CV, okay.
Everything else has been allocated.
So we already have the money.
Yes.
We just need to, just because a few steps might have been missed, decide if we want to go ahead and fund for utility assistance. I would say yes.
So we have the money, and this is, they have to submit to us to, and then they get the money. They don't already have it, correct?
No, the contract's not valid.
Okay.
So this is reimbursement.
Reimbursement deal, so, yeah. So I think it's, well, it wasn't done correctly. It was, the intentions were good.
Right. Okay.
So can I have a motion to allocate?
I had,
Okay.
now, can that money be allocated to other organizations, or is it just, if we say no to this, it's done?
You could decide to give it to another organization, but that is the balance, is the $9,428. Everything else has been allocated.
Right, because my question, to that is, it was written into a contract that wasn't properly done, is my understanding. So the organizations that probably applied for it at that time missed out on that money, or the opportunity to receive that money, right? So, I mean, it said something, I mean, how was it, I mean, because it was done inappropriately. Was it done on consumer credits end or our end? So, that's just my question to that. Can we
I
reallocate
see
it
that,
to?
yeah. I mean, we could if we had, you know, a list of the other, and then we would have to, at that point, choose, but now we're
Yeah.
really
Yeah, we're
time
we're kinda-
crunch. It's a time crunch, I guess, is
Yeah.
what it boils down to.
And it's ARPA money. I mean,
Yes.
so it can only be used for certain things.
Right.
So,
Do we have to spend it?
No. But we
Can we
lose
send
it.
it back?
Then we send it back. If we do not
Yeah.
spend it, it gets sent back.
So COVID is pretty much, I mean, that's in the distant past now. It seems like not the best use of taxpayer dollars.
Well,
I say that, but if the issue's on our end and not their end, and it's for assistance,
with
and
utilities.
it's $9,000, I'd say the onus is on us, and it seems like something good, I'd be for it.
Well, there are a lot of things that are good in life, but does that make it something we should do?
Typically, I would be in favor of not spending taxpayer money. This is federal money. Do you really think that our area is going to get that? If we send it back, where do you think that money's gonna go? Because we're still gonna have to pay for it. It's not like they're gonna lower the federal taxes that we're paying by $9,000 because we don't spend it or any other municipality doesn't spend their COSA money.
No, I get that.
So traditionally, yeah, if this were property taxes, I would say absolutely not. We'll just, you know, goes back into whatever fund, but I also want to make sure that our county is going to get the services that we were allocated for the COVID monies.
I like Robert's point though too, it's like who chose consumer counseling to be the recipient?
We did. Well,
Well,
no, we didn't. No, we
The
didn't.
previous employee did.
Right, so, I mean, is that something, if it comes back up where we go through the list, we have to have another meeting to vote on this, or can we do it?
Yes.
Can we do it in the April meeting, or, you know, put it on the agenda?
Well,
for
then,
something
okay,
like that?
are we gonna go through a whole nother presentation from these groups?
Yeah, how
Because
many do
who
we-
here
Do we
remembers
put a notification
why and
for
who we-
$9,000?
Yeah.
We just can't pick and
Which
choose.
has to be spent in, by that time, a couple months, right?
Yeah.
I'm on the finance committee, and this is ARPA money, and there's $59 million. So we had, what was the company that come in, Sarah, that I'm not thinking of?
Yeah, there's
Pardon? And I
a
mean,
consultant,
and this-
basically.
Yeah, it was an accountant that they come in, because we had to, when we did this money, it had to go for certain things, and there had to be certain accounting done, and sent in and approved by this company before we knew it was gonna be approved by the federal government to be spent in a certain way. So for us to go back and do something with it, would be quite time consuming. Chairman of Finance, Mike Scala, would be way more up on exactly, because he was sat in with a lot of the meetings with our head finance officer here at the county to make sure these things would qualify. We actually had to hire another person in the finance office to take care of these ARPA grants because there were so many of them and they're so meticulous on how they had to be documented. To send it back would be, to be reallocated would be interesting in my
At
mind.
best, yeah.
Costs more than it's worth
So
probably.
this would just be like an easy, like, we're approving.
But we have kind of a problem here if we aren't giving others an opportunity. And that's another reason to consider not using it, because to go through the whole process of properly allocating it and properly considering applications is a pretty long, arduous task. It's not something we could do by April. So
It
just
sounds
some
like
things to
internal
consider.
clerical steps were missed. It was an internal mistake by us.
By us or by them?
But-
By us.
By us. But But the grant itself is something that was approved, is what I'm hearing, by the ARPA committee. It went through a very long process. It just.
That I'm not sure of,
Oh, okay.
because
But
this
it
was
sounds like
done
we
by a
missed
previous
internal steps.
employer that sounded like he acted on his own, if I'm hearing it correctly, and it did not go through the process.
Okay.
But would that
it's
turn into
legit.
a legal issue?
I think if we approved it here to be used for that, our finance department at the county would look at it, take it to Hossman and whatever company that was looking at this and making sure they met all the federal criteria, and it wouldn't get released unless it did. But I think we could act on it and still not be in trouble here. Because if it might meet the criteria, correct, Sarah?
Yes, it does.
Then it wouldn't be allowed anyway. So if it's not allowed, then it's gonna go back or into wherever.
And typically in the past, when we have had monies swept back in because organizations either didn't use the entire amount or for whatever reason, they just didn't spend all of the money that they were allocated, and that does happen quite often. And, you know, we sweep back the funds and then we need to reallocate. And typically it is reallocated to groups that have, you know, we've either topped off.
Just gotta remember, this is ARPA money.
Yeah.
And it's a whole different picture than what we got, what we're
But we
dealing with.
had separate presentations for those CD monies, if I remember
For
correctly.
the ARPA monies?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, there
Yeah.
was, yeah, it was a long and hard process to go through. So anyway, I just put my 2 cents in there. What I know about it is that we can't, I don't think we can spend the money without it going through our finance department here at the county and being okayed, that it meets the federal requirements.
And it already has gone, it actually already has gone through the process and approved by the county board and signed by Chairman Bueller.
Is that true?
Yes.
For ARPA?
Well, this
This particular
$9,000,
one, yes. That was.
even though the previous employer did it wrong, it's already been through the county board and approved and signed by Chairman Bueller?
I don't know about the county board, but it was signed.
It was what?
Signed.
Yeah, it would have to go through the county board to be signed
Yeah,
by Chairman Bueller.
So our
So,
motion today
yes.
is procedural.
Yeah.
So hearing that and after Larry's explanation, I'll make a motion, we allocate $9,428 for utility assistance out of CDBG CV money for consumer credit counseling.
I'll second.
We'll do a roll call vote here, please.
So we're not giving to utilities, we're gonna switch it to,
That's the company that is
Oh, it's the
assisting,
company,
and then, yes, yep.
We'll manage the funds.
All right, do a roll call. Adamson,
Abstain.
Draftcorn,
Yes.
Houseman,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Paskey,
yes.
Reining,
Yes.
Shu,
No.
Smith,
Yes.
Tom Forta,
Yes.
Zook,
Yes.
Von Bergen,
Yes. Okay, so motion carries. Thank you for the discussion. Do we have any members' comments or any other business or announcements? We'll start with member comments.
I'll
Mr.
comment.
Smith, okay.
I would like to ask our director about our change in staff. And I know that there's some things that you're not gonna be able to discuss, but we've had a change in staff. You started, the previous director was Hans Mock. Some of you guys know him, some of you don't. Then you come on board, and then there was an assistant that we worked with quite regularly. I believe his name was Mr. Kiker, and he's not here now, is that correct? And somebody replaced him, and should we be getting introduced to that person, or
We're doing second interviews this week.
second interviews? Okay,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yes, so I believe it's this Friday we're doing second interviews. First round has already been completed, and the second one, I believe is this Friday
Okay.
with the team.
Any other staff update that would be relevant to us?
What I think would be really nice would be, pertaining to that would, maybe April's meeting, have the staff come in so we can be introduced and reintroduced to some of them and kind of maybe tell us.
Yeah, because we have no members here too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be the
I think
goal,
that
will be to have somebody in by that time and then introductions. I don't know if they'll be quite ready for deliberations, but I'll certainly be here.
I think even for the staff that have been here for quite some time, it would be nice for the new members to.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay. Any other member comments? We don't have any announcements or any other business to, okay. Okay, with that, could I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Smith and Ms. Tom Porta, seconds. All those in favor?
I know.
Motion carried. Thank you.